All right, we're in our last question for our 20 questions to reinvent your life. Oh my gosh, we have spent a lot of time together going through these questions with the idea that really your dream life is out there waiting for you. It is not some magical place that you can't have or that you can't achieve. It's there. We just need to ask ourselves the right questions so that we can start to move into that direction and get there. Okay. So I feel like I'm a little flushed. So we are going to finish with our very last question today. Now, if you don't have the workbook, you can get the workbook totally for free. It's here. Just scan the QR code. All 20 questions are in there. We're going through the last one today. Also, if you want to do a deep dive into all of the questions, all of the replays are available to you. You can get them on my YouTube station. There is a playlist that has all 20 questions. You can also go to my Facebook, and we've dived deep into each of these questions so they can support you and kind of as you work through the workbook. The benefit of the workbook is as you write things down, there's that brain to hand to pen connection, and it'll actually allow you to be able to craft these questions personally for you so that you can experience this reinvention. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the workbook up here so you'll be able to grab that at any time. So I'd love to know where you're coming in from. If you're watching live, let me know where you're from. And are you joining us for the very first question, the last one, or have you been part of the series all along? If you're watching the replay, comment, let me know where you are. I'd love to see where people are coming from and where they are in this journey. And if there was a particular question that sparked an aha moment for you or shifted you. I think questions are powerful. A lot of times we seek the answers and we don't take time to ask the right questions. I remember hearing that it was the question that really was even more powerful than the answer. And if you had great questions, you would have great answers. And so when we reflect, most of us are so busy, we're go, 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 go. We don't take the time to reflect. And because of that, I think we often end up in places that we really didn't plan on being. We wake up one day and we go, how did I get here? And it's because we just kind of went along with the motions. And so this journey has really been about reinventing yourself, the 20 questions to reinvent your life. And that doesn't mean becoming somebody different. I keep saying this over and over. This means stepping into the best version of who you are. And so we've done a lot of work, guys. We've done core values. We've done your strengths. We've done your goals. We've done who's in your support system, your mentors. I mean, we've done a deep dive into a lot. Yesterday, we worked on moving now into this visualization process. And so our last question is a build upon yesterday's. Yesterday's question was, what does my ideal future self look like in terms of personal and professional aspect? We talked about the power of visualization and why it's important and how to create those targets. And so our last question today is, how can I create a vision for my life that motivates and guides my reinvention journey? How can I create a vision for my life that motivates and guides my reinvention journey? Now, you may say, well, Tara, that seems kind of the same question, but it's actually taking the question and going a little bit further into actionable steps and a deeper motivation. And so here's what's different about today's question. Yesterday, we focused on what does it look like? What does this ideal you look like? What do you do when you wake up in the morning? What is your health like? Who are you connecting with? What are you doing with your job? Where are you working? What does your day look like? We kind of created this almost like a movie of what it would look like if I could watch you in your reinvented life. Now we need to figure out the why. Why do you want this? So instead of just having this is my future version looks like, I want you to really think and reflect on, why does this vision matter to you? When you see and picture this future version of yourself, how do you feel? We are so driven by how we feel. So the more connected you are into how you feel, why you feel that way, go back and what were those core values that you created that really drive this reinvention? When you look at all the work that we did on your core values and your strengths, and then you look at this future version picture, well, how does this all wrap up together? Okay, this future version of me is healthy. Why? What is it that you're going to get from that? What does this future life give you, give your family, give your children, give your spouse, give the people that you care about? Who is going to be impacted by this future version of you? So really going into that first step of, how does this make you feel? And why is that so important? And why do you love how that makes you feel? And how will you feel if you don't create that? sometimes that fear or that is almost a worse, that's a better motivation of like, who's going to miss out if you don't create this dream life, this reinvented, perfect, version that's there for you? Who's going to miss out on this? Who's going to be impacted? Okay, so now we have the destination. Now we have to start to step back and say, let's visualize the journey. Okay, the previous question really emphasized this end goal. This one encourages us about thinking about what is the path to get there. So I want you to picture if you're on this path and I can see the vision now, I see where I'm going, I see where it is I want to be. Now I want you to think about what are the habits, what are the relationships, what are the mind shifts that are going to support this. And this is all the work that we've done in the book so far. This is pulling out these questions and saying, okay, what are these tangible things that I can incorporate now today that start me down this road? And visualizing each step. What will it look like in a week? What will this reinvented version of yourself look like a week from now? What will this reinvented version of yourself look like a month from now, 6 months from now, this time next year? We've been focused on this year because often it's difficult to picture a vision that's 10 years in the future, but 12 months in the future is very doable. Okay, so you want to give yourself those benchmarks of visualizing what it's going to look like a week, visualizing what it's going to look like a month, maybe just visualizing the next day. What is the next day? If I'm in my reinvented version of myself, what does the next 24 hours look like? That can be really powerful. Okay, so what we want to do now is set these milestones so that you're breaking these visions into smaller kind of motivating checkpoints. And this is going to transform it into a manageable step. So for example, if the future reinvented version of me, I said yesterday, is much more stronger, I have a lot more muscle, in better shape, I'm eating clean, I'm eating more protein, then what would that look like a week from now? Maybe a week from now, that's, hey, I signed up for a gym. Or maybe a week from now, that's, hey, I'm hitting 10,000 steps every day. Or maybe a week from now, that's, hey, I started to do some meal prep and I cleaned out my cabinet of all the junk food that was in there. What is that tangible? Where can I be a week from now? Okay. Where can I be a month from now? Maybe in a month, it's like, hey, I wanted to be working with a personal trainer, or I want to have joined an online coaching program, or I want to be, time blocking time in my schedule every day to hit that goal. All right. Or a month from now, I'm going to have, done a cleanse, or I'm going to be tracking my macros, or where will I be a month from now? And then 6 months, and then a year. And the more you can incorporate in how you will feel in each step, the more powerful it is. Because again, we're driven by how we feel more than anything else, right? Let's say your reinvented life is that you're in a totally different career. Maybe you either have a new career or you started a business. What is the first step that you need to do? I want you to visualize, where's that first thing that I'm going to do? So maybe the first step is I need to update my LinkedIn and my resume, or I need to hire somebody to update my LinkedIn and my resume. Or maybe I need to meet with a career coach. If you went to college, a lot of colleges will have, you can even go back years later after you've graduated, and a lot of them will offer career support services for their alumni. Maybe you go and you say, okay, in the next month, my first step in this reinvented life is I'm going to go set up a career coaching session, or I'm going to hire a headhunter to help me find my dream job. Or I want to start a business and I don't really know how to do that. And so in the next month, I'm going to seek out a class, a course to learn how to do that. Or I'm going to invest, 1 hour every week researching online on YouTube videos on how to do that. There's so much that you can learn for free. Or we talked on one of our sessions about places like Coursera and stuff like that. And, online classes, Udemy, places that you can get the training that you need. All right. We talked about, like, if you have, you want to expand your circle using things like Meetup and Eventbrite. And so in a 1 month, what will you have done? In 6 months, what will you have done? So this is kind of, again, the culmination of all the work that we've been doing over the last couple of weeks with all of these questions to now really give yourself a clear action plan. Without and I'm going to go ahead and pull up my notes, without the action plan, right? Without our action plan, nothing's going to happen. This is just going to all be great. It'll be fluff. It'll be like, oh, that was interesting to think about. That was really fun, but I don't actually have my next step. Okay. And so as you go through each of these milestones, as you start to incorporate, this is my next checklist, I want you to almost think about what is it going to feel like as you hit each one. Okay, this is the key piece. In order to create, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, this like what we're doing to our brain when we visualize the secret sauce, the part that makes it work. Like when people talk about manifestation or visualization, what makes it work is not so much what you see, it's how you feel. It's how you feel when you see it. It's the feelings that you're creating. The feelings are the energy that starts to go out and create and shift things. So I really want you to think about, okay, in this new reinvented version of me, how will I feel in a month? What is this going to look like? And this is where you can really get into like setting targets, setting, SMART goals. If you don't know what that is, just Google it. It's all over the place. SMART goals, SMART measurable goals. But where you have a checklist. How will the future version, this reinvented version of yourself feel as you check off these off your list? Sometimes just even that visualization is powerful. Picture this is my checklist, and how will I feel as I check these off my list? See, your dream life is out there. This reinvented version of yourself is not somebody who doesn't exist. And this is the part that I just really want to drive home as we finish up our series. This is not creating some not achievable. This is the person who is inside of you. Tony Robbins calls it the sleeping giant. This is the person. She is just waiting for you to wake her up. If you've ever seen Moana, the one, not two, but one, that great scene at the end. It's my favorite Disney movie for so many reasons. But it's at the end. It's like the island was this beautiful island. It was her heart. And sometimes for us, we've lost our heart. It's either gotten beat up along the way, it's gotten neglected, somebody else stopped on it, or we were just so busy dealing with everybody else's heart, our kids, our spouse, our partner, or the other places that needed us, that we neglected our own. And so when we reconnect with our heart, that reinvented version of yourself is just waiting for you to tap into her and say, hey, wake up. It's time. It's your time. It's your season. If you've ever heard me say this saying, and I say it a lot, if you don't pursue your dreams, if you don't go for your goals, those dreams that God put on your heart to create, to go for, to manifest, if you don't go for them, they die with you. Those dreams that will benefit the rest of us die with you. They won't exist because you're the only one who can dream them. You're the only one who can bring them through and in fruition the way that you can, with your unique style, your unique perspective, all of those things. So when we're talking about reinventing yourself, we're talking about being in a place where you contribute to the world in a way that has impact and legacy and purpose, because it's what you were designed to do. So this work is so much more than just saying, what's important to me and having a vision. It is about leaving a legacy of impact for your purpose and why you are here. And I believe that if you've come this far and you've been doing these 20 questions, it's because you know there is more for you. You know you were meant for more. You know there's a sleeping giant. You know there's this heart that's desiring to be reinvented, to come back up, and to live that life that is possible for you. So work through your questions. Go back and reflect. Maybe now that we've gone through all 20, you can go back to the beginning and look at some of those differently. Or say, hey, there's some things that I need to tweak. And then what I would love for you to do is tell me, what's your first step? What is your very first action step? And openly, for some of us, it might just be, you know what? I've so stopped dreaming. I've so stopped visualizing and seeing that future version. I've just gotten stuck in the day-to-day and the routine and the chaos of life. That the first step literally might be that I wake up in the morning and the first 5-10 minutes, I just go to question 19 and visualize my future. And right now, that might be the win for you. That first action step might be, I just need to reconnect with my vision every day for the next 7 days and just start there, right? For some of you, it might be some of the other questions. I need to really reach out to those mentors. I need to reach out to those people who can support me in my vision. For some of you, it might be going back into the habits. I need to really work on and shift a few habits that are not serving me and just work on one at a time. But what is the most important thing? And here's when overwhelmed with so many choices of what to do next, this is what I always think. What is the one that will have the biggest impact? If I can only do one, what is the one that will impact me the most? What is the one that will have the greatest difference if I just do this? There's a really great book, and there's a great podcast called The One Thing, and it focuses a lot on this concept. And I love it. If you have not read the book or watched the podcast, it's fantastic. It focuses on this idea that there's the one thing that moves the needle the most. What is the one thing? And so that's what you're looking at. As you're going through your workbook and you're skimming through the pages and you're saying, okay, what is the one thing that is impacting my life? Is it a habit? Is it a mindset? Is it a person? Is it maybe cutting some activities out or things that I'm doing out? Like, what's the one that will move the needle the closest towards the reinvented you? Start with that one. So I would love for you to drop in the comments and let me know, what is the one for you? What is the one that's going to move the needle? What is the one that this is what you're going to focus on next? Don't just close the book and go, that was great, and put it away. Now it is time to take the action. Now it is time to say, I'm going to incorporate this. I'm moving. Moving's the key. I'm moving. I have action. There's activity. There's energy into this reinvented life. So drop in the comments. Let me know the one thing. Now, if you're in the Hey Girl You Can community, please head over to the private Facebook group. This is where you're going to put in the Facebook group, what is your one action, one step, because we're going to hold you accountable. There is a lot of power in accountability when you say you're going to do something and then you follow through, and there's people waiting for you to follow through. So that's why that private group is really, that is your cornerstone, right? That's your community to go in there and say, this is what I'm going to do. So go check in over there and tell us, what is your one first step towards this reinvented you that you're going to be working on. And then 2 ways that I can continue to support you after we are done now with our series is, one is join our Hey Girl You Can community. Get plugged in. Every month you'll get workshops, you'll get networking, you'll get Q&As, you'll get co-working sessions. Like every week there's something for you to take advantage of. And it is so cheap. This is not a high ticket coaching program. This is something that I felt very strongly in my heart to make accessible to every single person, regardless of their situation. Being a single mom and knowing that there were times when I really, truly wanted to reinvent my life. And if you had come to me and you said, I had this amazing program, but I wouldn't have been able to invest in it. So I wanted something that everybody could say yes to, because I believe in that we all stand on that whole thing. Like, hey girl, you can do this. So get plugged into our community. Connect with the other women, take advantage of all of the resources. There's a whole library of resources there, journals, workbooks to support you in your reinvented life. Now, if you do want to take a deeper dive, if you like, I am in a place where I can make a little bit more of a commitment to myself and financially, then we do have the Total Transformation Day. And this is one day where I take the best stuff over literally more than 2 decades of work and give it to you in a power-packed day. So the idea is like to cut through all the noise that you don't need to spend decades learning and picking out the best stuff. I've already done that work for you. I've already invested the time and the money into that. And now I'm giving it to you in a power-packed day so you can have a total transformation in one day with me. We work very closely together in a small group setting over Zoom and make some massive changes. So those are the 2 ways that we can continue to work together. But if nothing else, at least grab your workbook and do the work yourself, because you deserve to love your life. And I thank you for going through this series with me. And if you need to go back, go check out the other questions. And I can't wait to see the new reinvented you.